of this overlay.
Good evening, everybody. We are just getting the ball rolling, and we already have a hype train.
What?
Because in case you didn't know, we hit affiliate on Wednesday. So, yeah. We managed to do it within 3.5 streams. We got the notice halfway through our Wednesday night stream that we made affiliate. So, yes, we can now take bits and subs and all that good stuff. We already have an emote. We've got another emote on the way. And we have an amazing group of people here tonight, and I am so excited to have this show. First, before we get started, I have a couple of things that I would like to... Oh, shoot. I don't know what's going on, but stuff's happening. And, yeah, stuff's happening. Oh, my God. I need to, mute those notifications. Holy moly. Oh, my gosh. 10 Tier 1 gift subs. Katie Machin, thank you so much. Look at you. All right, so a couple of announcements that I would like to make before we get started. First off, we have a lot of congratulations to say to a lot of people here this week. First off, Shared Experience's very own Removed Disc got married on Wednesday, so congratulations to Removed Disc. We wish you and your partner many, many years of happiness. Second of all, Jim the Dim, who is joining us today, got married on Tuesday, so congratulations to you. And all of us here that are joining in on the stream tonight, if you haven't checked your email recently, we have gifted you a gift card to the Rook and Raven so that you can plan many years of adventures for you and your partner.
Oh.
So we wanted to do that as something as a group, just from the five of us, or the rest of the five of us. So we joined together, and we wanted to do that for you guys so that you could have some fun with that. So congratulations to you both. And before we get any further into this, I would like to have everybody go around and introduce themselves and tell us a little about who you are and where we can find you on the interwebs. So Shannon, we're going to start with you.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Shannon. I am from Paradise RPG. It was just over there a couple minutes ago finishing up the Tim and Shannon Power Hour. So, hey, all you people that were over there. So Paradise RPG is my home. We started streaming about a year ago, a little over a year now. I play Scarlet over there, my fiery red-headed rogue who I love oh so much. You actually saw her in the opening video. That's the first time I've seen it. It's
that's
so cool.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
So cool. Yeah, so I also do love to cosplay. I will be doing a full Scarlet cosplay tomorrow for the second half of our Halloween episode. So tune in tomorrow night for Advantage in Paradise for Halloween Spookiness Part 2. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at sroby25. I love hanging out with this nerd community and these lovely people who are here this evening. And I'm going to pass it down to Ben.
That's right.
Ben.
Benjamin, you're up.
Benjamin.
Hey, everybody. My name is Benjamin. I am the Dungeon Master for an actual play podcast called Lawful Great Adventures. We run Pathfinder First Edition in a homebrew world of my make. We've been going since February. We have 42 episodes and some bonus content out now. Yeah, I never thought we'd make it. I'm also an avid podcast listener, so I listen to and interact with a lot of the AP community around here. Lawful Great Adventures is sort of a slow-moving, long-form, character-driven story about four friends trying to find their way home. And so far, we've had just a lot of really great moments, a lot of really great character growth. Our most recent episode, we release episodes every Thursday, every week. Usually we're pretty good, pretty good track record. The most recent episode has really taken off. So I've been told it's a really good starting place as well. So if you want to hop on, actually now's a really, really good time. Episode 42, Grogel's Domain. It's a dragon hunt, which is really fun.
It's awesome. I was just telling him I just started listening to it today. I'm only about halfway through, so I was like, no spoilers. You can't give me any spoilers. I
am like, oh, I can't do spoilers for this episode. It's such a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, I'm excited to listen to the rest of it. And you will be, for those of you who caught Benjamin when he was with me on the other channel a couple of times, I had commented on the fact that my daughter has also been listening to the podcast totally independently of me, and she still is listening to the podcast totally independently of me. So
and
yeah.
I'm writing her an NPC.
Yes.
Her NPC is gonna be in the show, so that's gonna be a lot of fun.
That will be a lot of fun. She'll be super excited about that.
I'm not gonna tell her when. It's gonna be a surprise.
Okay. My lips are sealed. I won't even, well, she probably heard me talking because she's, downstairs, but whatever. Nick, let's move over to you.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name is Nick. I play a lot of D&D. Specifically, I play Relic, a Warforged cleric on Know Your Role, an actual play D&D podcast, which we have 30 episodes out. We are currently on hiatus, but that just means you have plenty of time to get caught up. In the meanwhile, you can find me guesting on as many other D&D podcasts as I can. Most recently, you can hear me on the latest series of Plot Hook Adventures with Plot Hooks, which just dropped the first episode of a 4-part spooky Halloween one-shot we ran. You can find me personally on Twitter at NickPlaysDND, or you can follow us on Know Your Role at know_your_role. So I'm really excited to be here for, I think, my third appearance.
Yeah. Yeah, Nick's been on a couple of times in the previous season, so we're excited to have you back. Actually, everybody that's on has been on in previous seasons, so yeah.
This is number 5, not to brag, but number 5. I'm keeping track.
One day I'll catch up to Shannon.
It's true. There's actually the gauntlet was thrown between Shannon and Star Shinobi.
Yep, who I just told because she was our guest on the Power Hour, and I was like, number 5.
I love it. She's on in a few weeks, though. She might even be next week or the week after, so she's coming. Next, we are going to head over to Jim.
So I'm Jim. I'm floating around the internet and lurking on Discord. I am starting to get something going on my Twitch channel and going for affiliate finally. And I don't know what's going on because I just got married and I've been home for about 3 days, so I haven't even taken care of the legal part of it yet. I'm still recovering.
Yeah, that happens, but it's all good things, and we are all very happy for you. And yeah, we're excited that you're here. I'm glad you were like, yeah, sure, that'll be my first stream. This is Jim's first stream since he's been married, so extra special. And last but absolutely not least, we have Caitlin from Arcane Spectacles.
Hello, I'm Caitlin. I'm half of Arcane Spectacles. We are a TTRPG accessory shop. You can find us on Etsy at Arcane Spectacles, Twitter at Arcane Spectacle. Can't have the S because it's too long, unfortunately. we make all sorts of cool things, and it's really fun creating for the community, and we love it. And we just so happen to be running a giveaway tonight.
What? No way.
What?
Okay.
For one of our dice vaults, which we just recently launched on our shop, and I will show it here. We decided to go spooky Halloween with orange and black. You can open it up. It has magnets, and it has a place for you to put your dice in.
Love
it. I'll show you my personal one with no dice in that one. This one with my dice in it. I have two. I'm lucky.
So, Caitlin, the thing about those, right, now, if somebody wins and they get the black and orange, but let's say they want to swap out for different colors and they want to buy a different set, they're mix and match, right? Like, they can...
They are. Like, oh, here's the black bottom. Let's put a pink top on it.
Like, really like that.
Yeah.
Or this other top. You can just mix and match. I do it basically every day with all of mine. It just depends on the mood and the dice I want to have by my computer. You know, you just want to switch it up.
There you go. So you can win the one tonight, and then if you would like to change up your colors for something else another time, you can order another one, and you can have two sets that you can mix and match and all that good stuff. So, so yes, the giveaway has started for the Dice Vault. Exclamation point ticket to enter. We're going to run that until the end of the stream, and you must be present to win. So if you enter and we draw your name, you must be able to speak up in chat. So, yes, and Caitlin, you said that international shipping is okay this time?
Yes, international shipping this time is great.
Yes, so if you're international, that's A-okay. Yay for that, because I know we do have some international people in chat tonight. So, excellent. Well, thank you guys all for being here. I am so super excited that you're here. I'm like dropping stuff on my desk. So, and that's let's get this ball rolling. I see everybody entering the giveaway. Chat too, by the way, if this is your first time here, we love questions from chat. Hey Patch, we see you. Patch exclamation point ticket, you can enter the giveaway. It's okay.
Patch! He arrived just in time. His giveaway senses.
Right, that was it. It must have been his giveaway senses tingling. Yeah, Hillary's like, oh no, we might as well just give it up. So we're gonna get the ball rolling. Let's see. I've got a lot of, I think I was trying to say something about questions in chat. So chat, if you have questions, drop them in chat. Our moderators will make sure that we get them. And yeah, we're gonna roll from there. So let's see, what questions should we start with tonight to get the ball rolling? Let me think. Okay, I have one. Jim, this was actually a question you asked a few weeks ago, back actually during another season of the show. And it's one of my favorite questions. I liked it so much it actually made its way into the intro video. What is your real life God stat and your real life dump stat?
Huh. My God stat would probably be my charisma. My dump stat would probably be, I don't know, intelligence?
That's how I feel too some days. Most days.
I think my God stat is I think I'll go with charisma as well. I agree with you on that one, Jim. However, my dump stat is 100% wisdom because my passive perception sucks. I miss so many things. Like I'm just like, whoop, things go right over my head. So that's 100% my dump stat.
See, I would say my dump stat is dexterity because I'm fairly clumsy. I drop stuff all the time. Jared is always like, I don't even know how you get through life. Like, how did you do that? I'm like, I don't know how I dropped that. It just slipped out of my hands. I'd like to think that my God stat is intelligence because I work really hard. I'm a researcher, so I really like to constantly be learning. So I'd like to think that's my higher stat. I'd hope. I don't know.
My dump stat is 100% Constitution. I'm a lazy boy, and I don't like getting my heart rate up above a certain number. When that happens, I kind of lose all motivation to press on. As such, I'm just not interested in
the
it.
depths of my soul.
This question kind of isn't fair because we're all like on streamers, so it's like, oh yeah, my god stat is also charisma.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, I like working with people a lot. I like being with community a lot. I like talking with people and connecting with them. So I work sales in my real life, so I am constantly working with people as well and trying to convince them to buy things that they want. They want these things that I want them to buy, but
You just want them to buy it now.
I would prefer it if they bought them from me.
Yes.
That's
Generally how it works.
I'm kind of like Caitlin. I think that I think my highest stat would probably be intelligence. Similarly, I do research for work, and I love reading and like devouring content. But I think wisdom might be my. I'm one of those people. Like I feel like I'm pretty book smart, but then sometimes when it comes to translating that into common sense or not coming across as I don't know. It's somewhere between wisdom and charisma. I'm not sure. I don't know. I was literally muting my mic and asking Hillary. I'm like, which is worse, my wisdom or my charisma? But I'm gonna go with wisdom.
Hillary, I know you're in chat. I'm trying to think. You know, it's funny when I answered this before. I think we brought some other skills and stuff into the mix, but if we stick strictly with stats, Benjamin, I'm with you. Like Constitution would probably be my dump stat, but I would say my god stat would probably be either charisma or to like what Shannon was saying about passive perception, it would probably be my wisdom because I notice everything. It's sort of a running joke that I'm one of the people who can like pick out different voice actors that are like, oh, this guy was in this video game, but I also heard him in this, and this. Or, one of the examples that I keep using is the Baldur's Gate 3 video game because they haven't announced who the voice actors are in it, which I think is a little bizarre. But I was listening to the narrator in it, and I'm like, I know that's the same person that voiced this character from this video game. Like, I know it is. And then sure enough, it came out on Twitter that it was the same person. Yep. So
I know exactly who you're talking about. I did the same thing for the first 15 minutes. I was like, I know this voice.
Yeah. Yep. So I was like, oh, I'm very proud of myself for that one. So
maybe you've got a 16 in each, Luna.
Maybe
that's what it is.
That could
maybe
be
you've got a split god stat.
That would be. I'd be okay.
Or dare I say an 18 in each?
I wouldn't go that far. Oh my gosh. We do have some questions coming in from chat though. Let's see. Prue would like to know, and this one is related to Lawful Great Adventures. If you were a dragon, what would you hoard? Bunnies are allowed.
I actually own a hoard of trumpets.
That doesn't surprise me.
I actually, yeah. So I was a professional trumpet player for a hot minute, and I have 7 trumpets that work, and probably 6 more that don't.
Wow.
So that's
a lot of trumpets.
I have a lot of horns. Well, I've got some like vintage bugles from a couple of different wars. I've got a splitter that does that has like the Harmon mute attachment down on the bottom. Those are really cool. I got a couple of old cornets, and then I've got like the stuff that I played on in the professional life. You know, like the main trumpet, then another trumpet for orchestral stuff, and then a little tiny piccolo trumpet and a flugelhorn and like all. So I have like just like this mound of them, and anytime we have to move or redecorate or anything, it's always like, well, where are we going to put these darn trumpets? And sure enough, one more gets put in the attic every time we move things around.
Oh no.
My ex.
So I'd also be a brass dragon though too, which I think is pretty cool.
There
I
you
like
go.
brass
Yeah,
dragons.
for
That's cool.
My ex-husband, I've told this to Ben before, but my ex-husband was also a trumpet player, so I know that all too well. He had a piccolo trumpet, a C trumpet, his professional trumpet, his slightly less professional trumpet, and then the professional trumpet he'd play in the rain, and you know, all of that.
Yep.
So yeah,
Yep.
a cornet, which he tried to teach my daughter how to play, but now she plays the trombone. So
Good for her.
yeah,
She made the right choice.
she did. Yeah, go ahead.
My first answer was dice, but that's too easy. So I thought a little bit harder, and I'm gonna say princess dresses because I love to dress up so much.
Took my answer.
Sorry,
took my
I'm sorry. I just ordered finally. Like I've been wanting one, but I finally ordered myself a big yellow bell dress, which should be here
Nice.
on Tuesday.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that cosplay.
I was going to say, so by Tuesday night, we should be checking Twitter for photos. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yep, I'll have my makeup on. I just need to throw the wig and the dress on. It'll be good to go.
There you go.
In real life, I'm quite the hoarder of money, which not like oh, I have to have all the money, but I have this really bad habit of hiding money everywhere. Like if I get money in like a birthday card, it like goes in the sock drawer, or I like will put money, like sometimes I've put it like in books before. I don't know why I do this. I think it started because I would always hide like $100 bill somewhere in my car in case I ever like broke down and I needed cash on hand. And then it's just like spread throughout my house. So like anytime we move, it's always like, make sure you check inside all the things to make sure you find all the money that Caitlin's just hid everywhere. It's great.
So if an adventuring party actually invaded your lair, it would be like a dungeon crawl because they're looking for all the loot.
Yes. Give me your perception check or your investigation check.
Oh my
Yeah, I
god.
was
See
gonna
how
say.
well you do.
Yep. You've got the most actual, like, stereotypical dragon answer.
Yes.
I had
I
to
Like a
laugh.
dragon.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, I'm thinking a very forward-thinking dragon. Like, you get to the lair and there's nothing there, but it's because the dragon hoards bitcoins, so they're all on the web. And he's like, sorry guys.
It's in the cloud.
It's in
Yeah.
the cloud. I was really glad that you clarified that you like hoard money, but not like in the Scrooge McDuck sense of hoarding money, because I absolutely for a split second had that mental picture of you Scrooge McDuck diving into a vault of coins and yeah,
And swimming.
and swimming through it. Yeah, just this giant room of coins. So, yeah, that was yeah.
I think if I were a dragon, I would probably hoard. It was either going to be D&D minis. Like I love, and that's like the worst part of playing virtually. I love playing D&D virtually. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the kind of setup that like Sean of Paradise does with like the extra cameras where I can have like my
so spoiled.
my separate little
Yes.
battle map. I have boxes and boxes of minis that are just in our closet, just gathering dust throughout all of this. So in a world where you can't use D&D minis, I would say my answer would probably just be books. Just like
that's
as
a
many
good one.
fantasy books and sci-fi books as I could get.
Okay, I was trying to figure out to put it into words, and the best I could come up with is I would hoard happy memories.
Aww.
I love that.
Jim, the most wholesome of all of us here.
Yeah, yep, you win.
It reminds me of like Inside Out, like the idea
Yeah.
if you could like actually capture your memories in like little globes and have them displayed.
I would have a wall of them.
Aww.
I love it. I love it.
I'm using that now. Next dragon is going to be a happy memory dragon.
Oh my gosh.
That's really cool.
Spoiler.
Spoilers.
And if it doesn't give it to you willingly, it gives you like necrotic damage.
Give me your memories. They're supposed to be happy. They're mine now.
I know. Love it.
That's fantastic.
I really like in general, I feel like I kind of live life always thinking about specific memories that I want to hold on to and cherish and remember forever, almost like taking like a Polaroid. Like I think a lot of times in life I'll take a moment, I'm like, I'm really enjoying this, I want to remember it forever, and I'll like take a second and like mentally think about taking a Polaroid, and then every so often I think back to all my Polaroids that I've mentally ticked to remember. And I think that's really awesome. I like that.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
That's always my piece of advice. And I think I said this to Jim right before he got married, was make sure you step back and just take a breath for the day and just look around at everything that's going on. And, you know, like, don't get too caught up in it. Like, that's always my big thing is, and to that point, Caitlin, like, I do the same thing, like, every so often when I get together with friends or whatever. Like, I always try to remove myself for a minute and just look at everybody and be like, oh my God, everybody's having such a great time. Or, you know,
I had a moment like that yesterday, Luna. Hillary and I went and got to see some friends, some of whom we haven't seen since almost the beginning of the pandemic.
Wow.
And we were all outside, you know, with masks, socially distanced and everything. But Hillary was making fun of me because I had brought a lawn chair. And at one point I was like sitting outside of the group in the lawn chair. And she was like, what are you doing? And like, it was one of those moments where it was just cool to like look around and see everyone, like people holding my daughter that haven't been able to hold her in like 8 months. And it was one of those, like that exact moment of like pulling yourself out just for like a couple of minutes so you can kind of like click it in and remember it. Because especially now, we don't get a lot of memories like that with everything that's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, now I'm not going to answer that whole question because my answer was yarn, and that's not nearly as wholesome.
Just to build on a little bit, so I actually told our officiant to, like, after, you know, my two best friends gave us away, I told our officiant to make sure he says to take a deep breath and just breathe, and like having that be part of the ceremony itself.
Love
like,
it.
That extra helped to hit hard because there's something extra magical about getting married on Thunder Island, and that is the actual name of the place.
Very cool.
That is super awesome. I like that a lot. Aww. A lot of us watched it on Twitch or caught the VOD or something like that, so yeah, it was good.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm going to change gears. Patch has a great question that I really like. And he says, I know we're a day late, but what would your character's Halloween costume have been?
Scarlet wouldn't participate.
Scarlet is a Halloween costume.
Scarlet is a Halloween costume.
Scarlet's costume might be disguising herself so she can assassinate someone.
Exactly. Yep. That's yep. She's a party pooper.
Yeah. Relic would definitely go as Moradin, his dwarven god, because he loves him
love it.
more than
I like
anything.
that.
So he would definitely get like the fake beard because he's a warforged. He'd go all out. He'd try to imitate his very authentic Jersey accent that Joe has given Moradin in our campaign for some inexplicable reason. But yeah, it'd be great.
Garth Rakasan, who is the
great name.
Garth Rakasan, the orc fighter. He's really intense. He's based on 80s action stars and my favorite himbo characters. He would talk for weeks about how awesome and sick his costume was going to be. And then on the day, he would forget that there's a big Halloween party. So he would like go out into the wilderness and try to like kill a monster and skin it really quick so that he can just sort of wear that. So that he can like show off this like really sick monster. Well, of course, he's sort of a misadventure type of guy. So he would screw it up somehow. It would take him too long. And so he would just show up to the party covered in blood and scratches, dragging a monster behind him, asking if anybody has a knife.
Love it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
I don't really have that many long-term characters. One of them would dress as a bowling ball and find it hilarious. He's a little gnome rogue.
I love it. I love that.
A bowling ball. I love it.
That's amazing. I haven't played very many characters, but the last one that I played was the one shot that we did the other day,
I think I heard of that one.
which was like so much fun.
So much fun.
But I really wanted to be this investigative person, so I kind of felt like I was trying to make her into like Nancy Drew or something. So I feel like maybe that's what she would dress up with. But
Love it.
I'm trying to think. I think the character that I'm playing right now, Evie, probably would be like, she'd be into the concept of Halloween, but I don't think she would. I think she would be at a loss for what to dress up as for Halloween. So she'd probably just like put her cloak on and be like, "This is a costume, guys. What are you talking about?"
Love it.
Yeah, she's not a super like flashy person. She's from a super small village, so like she would just be like, "This is fun, but I don't really get it," you know?
I was like, one of my favorite tropes is when like the person from like a small village who have their own customs like completely misunderstands the Halloween thing. So like she'll show up in like a corn tuxedo or whatever, like something really weird, and they'll be like, "What are you dressed as?" They'll be like, "What do you mean? I'm dressed as the corn purveyor. We all dress like this, right? Why aren't you guys dressed like the corn purveyor?"
Love it.
Oh, that's great. Evie's Town, I think she really kind of like, just given, I don't want to give too much of her backstory because it's a current character that I'm playing on stream, but just she's from a really small village, and this is the first time she's ever set foot in a large town. So it's like, I think she would love it, but I think she would just be totally like, I have no idea what's going on, but this is great, you know? So that would be her. And to that point, David Tilstra would like to know, what would your character's favorite candy be?
Hot tamales.
Nice.
I don't know.
That makes sense,
I really want to say, I want to say something like totally bizarre. Like she would love like strawberry flavored bubblegum or something that's like totally like really sweet. That is like not, or some that's not her personality. You know, like maybe Peeps. I'm gonna say Peeps. She'd like Peeps, even though they're not candy. They're full of sugar.
I mean, that's what candy is, right? Sugar.
Yeah, sugar. It's sugar. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Garth
don't
Rock
think.
is, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, tell us about Garth.
It's actually in canon. This isn't a table game, so it's like in canon, not recorded. But Garth Rakasan loves milkshakes. He likes making milkshakes. He likes protein shakes. He likes adding chocolate to milkshakes, and he gets really upset when his party, because he's super straight edge, when his parties tries to sneak whiskey into his milkshakes.
Love it.
Nice. Yeah, I don't think Relic has ever had candy. He was raised in a dwarven mine. Well, prior, I think so. He wouldn't have had candy to form. I imagine it would be something really obscure, like a really awful brand of dwarven licorice, like black licorice, that the dwarves take like deep into the mines with them, and he would like tell all his friends how great it was, but everyone would think it was awful.
Love it.
Chat is going rock candy counts, and Nick cotton candy.
In all caps from
Yes.
Patch.
Okay.
Being yelled at.
So yes, I hadn't thought of cotton candy as a form of candy, but I guess it literally is.
It's in the name.
Yeah. No.
Candy.
Relic did eat cotton candy when we fought cotton candy robots on Know Your Role. Because again, that's what you're missing out if you're not listening to Know Your Role. Cotton candy robots.
I need to go check this.
I have a lot of questions about that now. I'm having a hard time making the image appear.
It's exactly what you're thinking. It's not that it's verbatim.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I like whoever said in chat, Braids Blades, Dwarven Pop Rocks.
Dwarven
yes,
Pop
I could definitely
Rocks.
see Relic
Yes.
like popping some of those in.
Yes.
Oh gosh.
Caitlin, did you say what your character's favorite candy would be?
I don't know. It's hard because I played her once.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of hard to flesh out a character in a session.
You didn't click that, or you didn't fill that part out in your character sheet under ideal, flaws, favorite candy.
I know. I should have had my priorities incorrect. I mean, I'm like, what spells do I need? What stats? Backstory? Not the candy. I'm sorry.
I don't think any of the characters I've made would know what candy is.
It's very sad.
I can't say that I've even heard in any D&D podcast streams, anything I've consumed, oh, we're at a tavern, even dessert. Do you want dessert? Every once in a while, but especially not oh, I'm on the road, I want to pick up some candy to eat.
Yeah.
That might be an interesting thing to experience as get a candy shop or something.
Yeah, I was going to say on Critical Role, Jester the cleric, her spiritual weapon is a giant
lollipop.
Giant lollipop.
Giant lollipop. I love
really
it.
Cool.
It's so sweet. Pun not intended.
That's what they all say.
Oh man.
Just for you. I'm putting in within the next 5 episodes. Scene at a tavern. They order candy instead of beer.
Yes.
Yes.
What's going on?
I love it.
I might know an
Alcoholic
NPC who could provide them with some cookies.
Whoa! Amazing. Minds are being blown right here on Tales from the Tavern.
So, for those of you who obviously were not privy to the pre-show, my daughter is also a huge fan of Benjamin's podcast. And because she's such a big fan, he has talked about putting in an NPC on her behalf. And so she actually wrote him out a little NPC description. And the NPC loves to bake cookies. So we'll leave it at that.
It's going to be a dragon. It's going to happen.
Oh my God. It's a dragon that
hoards candy.
Yes.
What is it?
I did just run a Halloween one-shot that ended with a jack-o'-lantern beholder who each of his stalks was a different type of candy. So there was a licorice ray.
I love that.
Not to pitch, sorry for the shameless plug, it's called Measles Magnificent Mansion, and you can DM or play it for free on Shard Tabletop. It's fully available.
Awesome.
The package is there.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So we ran it, and just at one point, the characters ran into chocolate clones of themselves, and it took exactly one round for them to realize, wait a second, chocolate, fire spells, and they just they absolutely melted them.
That is so creative.
Yeah,
I love that. I love it.
That's amazing. All right. I saw a question come up in chat, and kind of sticking with the Halloween theme. There was a question, and I'm sorry I missed who said it, but the question was, what superstitions would your characters have?
So this is a sad one. Relic's superstition would definitely be that you should never touch a dwarf's beard, because he was raised by dwarves and thinks of himself as a dwarf, but he doesn't actually have a beard.
Oh,
because he's a warforged. But that would be one of his superstitions.
That's so cute.
He would probably be a little reflexive if someone moved towards his face, because don't touch the beard.
Oh, right.
Oh.
Observation. I don't have a beard. Yeah.
This is a tough one. This is good. This is actually really good. I feel like you could use this when you're trying to tease out an interesting character from someone who's having a hard time finding some inspiration. Yeah. You might say, hey, does this character have a superstition from their background? Maybe something like that's a little anchored at. I'm just vamping for time right now.
Yeah, no. That's great. I love it. You're not wrong. So go for it.
Yeah, that would be really, really cool.
Yeah. No, I feel like the best questions are the ones that make the whole panel goes silent.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
all of us are just
Mhm.
like,
I don't even remember what superstitions are. Like the only one that I can think of is if you see a black cat, then there's going to be bad luck for you in the future. Or walking under a ladder, or throwing salt over your shoulder. Like, I don't know. None of those like scream Scarlet to me. I need to think about this one.
Or like, don't break mirrors.
Mm,
Or, like,
Walking
shattered
under
mirrors.
ladders.
I can see Scarlet's having something to do with fire. I don't know
Yeah.
what, but
yeah, definitely. Because she was raised in a forge, so there's definitely going to be some sort of fire-related superstition.
yeah,
Probably one of those superstitions that like is actually a concealed safety rule.
yeah.
Like, be careful. Like, if it goes in the fire, it stays in the fire, or you'll have
100%.
bad luck. You know.
100%.
Yeah, or you'll release fire elementals, but that's really just the shop
Right.
burning down.
Yeah. Please don't burn the shop down.
Yeah. No, her dad totally would have had some veiled safety rules there that she like next time she's in a forge she's gonna like go and talk about it like this matter of fact thing of like, oh yeah, every smith knows this superstition. They're like, what are you talking about? That's just good practice.
Superstition actually plays really heavily sort of in the undercurrent of Lawful Great Adventures and the way I built the world. Sorry to do a plug, but one of the most prominent ones is the relationship between mirrors and people and the divine. So there's this god who is also a plane, and it's just called the Shadow. It's the only god that doesn't actually have like a name. And the superstition is you need to be very careful with where you put mirrors and how long you look into mirrors, because if you look into a mirror too long, then the shadow will start to look back at you, and you can sort of tell because your face will contort a little bit. So there's this long running superstition throughout the entire current of the story underneath that like mirrors are sort of these dangerous objects that you need to treat with care. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm sure Garth Rakason's like probably afraid of something really stupid like tabby cats or something like.
So this actually leads into both the next question that was posed in chat and a question that came up from one of our cast members to the rest of the cast on our 50 Shades of Crimson. And then Benjamin, you actually kind of teased it out a little bit when you were talking about like thinking about things like superstition as kind of a character building mechanic. So the next question that came in from chat would be, what's an irrational fear that you want to give a character? But also to that point, there was a question that came up in our group chat among cast where somebody who is starting up with a new player wants to know, what do you find works for you, or what is your process for figuring out how you want to role play your characters? So that, like, questions like the superstition one, for example, or this one of like an irrational fear, like those are some things that you can kind of use to tease out some of that information, I feel like. So yeah, I think we could kind of answer all of those in a bunch of conversation.
Yeah, I agree with what you said, Luna, about the building off of those to build out a character, because that's usually what I start with is a personality. It's like, all right, what kind of personality do I want to play? And then I'll start thinking about little quirks like that, personality quirks, and a lot of it will come out through role play. Like Scarlet's calligraphy, like that I didn't have that at the beginning. That just came out because Sean was like, what's one of Scarlet's hobbies? And I'm like, she has nice handwriting. So I went with calligraphy. But so thinking about those little things, I think really shape who the character is, at least for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen this, but Ginny D on her YouTube channel has recently been putting out a lot of character development things where she's like role playing and asking questions, and you can like pause it to like answer as your person would. And I think that's a really awesome way to go about it, because it would feel natural, because you'd actually be role playing with somebody talking to you, which seemed really cool. Not that I've done it, but
I think one of the coolest experiences I've had as Relic was I was on Pseudonym Social, another TTRPG creator here has a series called Tales of Adventure, where she interviews characters from podcasts, like actual play podcasts, could be D&D, Pathfinder, Call of Cthulhu, anything, and the whole interview is done in character.
Yeah, I did one for
And-
Scarlet. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, I gotta
This-
do that.
A lot
Oh
of
yeah,
fun.
definitely like plug. Yeah, check out Pseudonym Social. Tales of Adventure. It's almost surreal because even on our actual play podcast, you don't go 45 minutes in character. I mean, you almost always have a break where you're like, oh, well, we do this or we do that. One thing that Brianna said at the beginning of the interview, she was like, try to avoid saying like, oh, he would do this or he would do that. Just act like you're that character. And it's the longest I've ever stayed in character as Relic, and it forced me to like think about things in a different way and communicate. And I know this is getting off the beaten path from the original question, which is like, what is an irrational fear you'd want to give your character? But like to kind of build on all of this, I think anything you can do to ask yourselves questions beyond like the traditional, like what's my bond, ideal, flaw, and personality trait, like this, like what is an irrational fear? I think to answer that question, I think one cool thing is like, you know how rangers get a favored enemy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like, oh, I'm really good at, fighting this one type. I think, if you pick, like, maybe if your character had a somewhat traumatic experience in the past, it could have been like your village was attacked by an ogre, or, a necromancer did something so that in the campaign, you don't even maybe have to tell the DM, but like when a moment happens when your character sees that type of enemy, you can have them react in a way where they're not maybe as heroic as they've always been because of something you built in.
That's a super cool idea.
That is a cool idea. One of the things that I used to do with a previous character was a lot of text-based RP, which is kind of along the same idea. I actually got so into it that I had pitched a panel idea, which, it was the first time I'd ever pitched a panel at PAX, but hey, I did it. And it was a panel called New Character Who Dis? Text-based roleplay as character development. So it was the whole idea of using text-based roleplay to help in character development, because I feel like the character that I used, it was my character Edabrix from another Pathfinder campaign, was so well flushed out as a character that I could flip in and out of her in a heartbeat, because I just knew her that well just from doing text-based stuff, where I'm finding myself right now, to some extent, I struggle a little bit with my character Evie because I don't know her that well. I haven't played her as long, for one, but I haven't had that opportunity to sort of delve into some of those situations that I was able to get into in a separate RP type setting. So I think that really can make a huge difference if you have, even if it's not a formal setting, like a formal RP channel, but like Nick was saying, just having the opportunity to stay in character for 45 minutes can make a huge difference. So, yeah.
That'd be awesome to develop some sort of bot that you could converse with in character. That's specifically designed to help you flesh it out, but it's, intelligent, and it could talk back to you.
Yeah, like the for any of the '90s kids, Smarter Child.
Yes.
The aimbot that you could talk to,
Yeah.
and it would talk back to you. Yeah, but for D&D.
That's terrifying and awesome at the same time.
I when I try to get into a character, I kind of start with I don't like to design a character like in a vacuum. I like to think about how the character relates to other people. So what I'll do is I'll sort of put in my mind the image of this character interacting with some archetype, like, they're interacting with a paladin. Well, what are the kind of things that this character would say to a paladin? How would they interact with them? What would the kind of things that this character would say maybe after another character has a traumatic event related to their backstory? Like, how is this character going to comfort or stammer or screw up or that kind of thing? So I always kind of start with, what sort of relationship do I want to have as this character to the rest of the party? And then I get into the personality from there, kind of like Shannon would said, and then I sort of build outward further. So when I built Garth Rakasan, I talked like this big important character. He's a big goofball. I wanted him to be a big, lovable himbo oaf who was actually really very sweet and kind of dim, but also like weirdly intuitive. And I wanted him to interact with the party in like this hyper positive way, not a toxically positive way, just like this really hyper positive way, like giving them fun nicknames like J Skills and Z Money, and encouraging them when they're doing stuff, and giving myself opportunities to prompt other players. So like we might bump into a challenge, and because they were all kind of fairly new at the game, so I wanted to be kind of a leader, but not like in charge. So it's like, oh, the door's locked, and Garth might look over and he's like, "Yo, Z Money, hey, you know how to handle these, right? Like, because I could do it, but like, it'd be loud, and maybe that's not what we're supposed to do right now." So that'd be sort of how I wanted to design him, because I wanted him to be able to lubricate the table chemistry. Sort of, and it worked. It worked. It got some of them out of their shells and got them to talk, and it was really neat.
That's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him typing it up in chat. I helped my husband create his first ever D&D character, and he didn't know how to do it. So my advice to him was, it's really easy. Just pick one very simple thing and blow it out of proportion. So he has a paladin, and they are like super vain and self-absorbed in their looks. So like it's not that much, but when you flavor combat as, oh, he walks in, he draws his sword, and on the draw he looks at his reflection in the shine, flicks a tuft of hair out of his face, and swings his great sword. It's an easy way to RP without doing RP, and just like that kind of really easy, simple transitioning was wonderful.
That's awesome and not embarrassing at all.
It's so wonderful.
That's amazing.
It is.
I don't know if you could hear him screaming from the couch.
Yeah.
No, it's a really cool idea too, because you never really.
I'm screaming too, and I'm like, wait.
You never really hear people talking about like getting scars in D&D. I mean, like you hear about combat all the time, and like people they almost die. They might have 2 failed death saving throws. You give them a healing potion and they're right back up. And I don't know of a lot of DMs or groups that really play with more like higher stakes. Like I know Shannon, I know Scarlett broke her leg one time, and Sean did not allow it to just, oh yeah, you have a healing. He was like, no,
no, it's permanent now.
Yeah.
It's something that I have to work in for RP reasons, and I love that. I love it because it serves as a reminder of how reckless she was and the consequences that became of that. And I love those little things. And what you said about scars, Nick, I always, whatever, I don't know any reason, or that's not what I wanted to say. I don't know for what reason, probably just because I like to do dark tragic backstories, but all of my PCs have a scar of some sort, and there's a story that goes along with it. And I don't know what I like about that. It's cool.
I actually wrote into Lawful Great Adventures a scarring mechanic. So it's a journey story about 4 friends. So one of the things that I realized is like, oh, if we make this game too lethal, then all of a sudden we're going to have a Ship of Theseus situation where we've been slowly replacing individual party members until we don't have the original party. Then the story doesn't make sense. So I removed death. They can't die. So what happens if they get knocked down to their death threshold? If they would die, that's when they get some kind of a scar or a penalty. So what's going to happen is the first time it happened, I think I destroyed some equipment and something happened. It's happening coming up pretty soon here. So he's going to have some sort of a permanent thing occur as a result of his death. And so that allows me to overbalance some of the encounters and not worry about them being too hard. And it also they really carry the story with them. Especially grievous wounds. Sometimes I'll work in as well. Like if
Yeah.
someone gets shot, then that's going to be a mark there.
Yeah, something cool that Sean does when a character dies but is resurrected, he will always ask, what is, you're gonna have a mark because you just died. So what is that mark? And he'll give the player time to think about what it is that they want. Like somebody has across their back a huge scar. It's either their back or their chest, like a huge scar. My ranger died and was resurrected, and the way she died was by a fireball, so she's got a huge like burn mark scar like on the side of her neck. So
Ooh.
I think that's like a really interesting way to, first of all, remind your character that they're mortal, and just it's really cool for RP reasons too.
I'm going to pause the conversation here because, believe it or not, we've already hit our first hour. And
What?
Yeah.
No.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Ooh,
We have-
can I say
It's
what
only
the
been
beer
15
is?
minutes.
I know, it does feel like that, doesn't it? So we are going to take a quick break so everybody can get up, refill their drinks, hashtag free the pee, all that good stuff. And make sure you enter the giveaway if you haven't entered yet. There's a dice vault up for a giveaway from Arcane Spectacles, one of the brand new dice vaults. So ! Ticket to enter if you haven't gotten to do that yet. There's way more of you in chat than have entered the giveaway. I'm very disappointed right now.
Fine, Luna, you've twisted my arms. I'll enter. I wasn't
Okay.
going to, but
And think of some questions when we come back. We will do this for another hour, and that's the giveaway item. So please please make sure. Nox, I've been creeping because I'm setting up.
Hey, Knox.
How are you, Nox? And we will be back in just a few minutes. And if you haven't had the chance yet to, also check out Arcane Spectacles store. If you haven't gotten to see any of the other products that they make, arcanespectacles.com. You can enter in capital shared EXP for 10% off your order. You could also check out our other partner, Critical Hit Cookies, where she makes all kinds of amazing cookies. They all come individually packaged and really, really well boxed up, so you don't have to worry about them breaking or anything like that. So if you have an adventuring party to feed, you can order half a dozen, 3 dozen, whatever. And Tavern Tales 10 will get you 10% off your order from Critical Hit Cookies. So check them out during the break and then come back and join us, and we will see you all shortly.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh no!
It's so dark in here.
Oh man. Okay, here we go. Everybody's cameras are all screwed up, chat. I'm really sorry. I'm gonna have to fix them all super fast. I don't know what the heck happened.
It's dark. Please save me.
So you're all just gonna have to watch the intro video again. Sorry. This time we can point out like where Shannon is in the intro video, and you know, I can watch it all and talk you all through it because that's just how this is
Yeah,
gonna
talk
happen.
us through it.
So that is the cast of Tabletop Tavern 1. That's just a picture that I found online. These are actual photos from PAX East. Let's see. There's Shannon in the cosplay photo.
Oh!
The God stats and the how did you start playing questions were custom art done for the intro. The dice photo is from PAX East. There's another picture with Shannon and Waffles Maple Syrup. And
Oh, I didn't even notice that one.
yep,
Hey!
they sent that one, so that was fun.
Awesome.
And then a lot of this was custom put in by Lot Evenstar of the Dice Tyrants Typerists.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job. He did all the art. He helped me with the video. I
It's
put together
gorgeous.
a lot of it, and he did a lot of it. So we're just going to use the same overlay again. Yay! There's everybody.
I love it.
Sorry guys, I really don't know what is going on with my OBS today. I literally had to reset everyone's cameras. I don't know how many times. So it was a little bit nutty. But guys, before we jump back into questions and answers and everything, I want to thank everybody who is joining us. Who is just coming in. For those who didn't hear or haven't noticed, we did hit affiliate on Wednesday, which is super, super exciting. And we actually are already up to 45 subscribers.
Wow!
Incredible.
That's amazing.
So it's a good thing we have more emotes on the way because we're going to fill those slots up pretty darn quick.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
So we should be getting some more emotes hopefully in time for next Sunday. The first one was uploaded really fast, so that was great. But thank you guys all for coming to hang out tonight. A reminder, if you're just coming in, if you came in during the break, we have a giveaway going on, ! Ticket to enter to win a dice vault from Arcane Spectacles. And that will be super fun to give away. And yeah, let's see, what else do we have going on? We have a great group of people here, so let's dive back into the conversation. Not Thicket, you goober. Oh my gosh. I'm catching up now on all the stuff that happened in chat. It's like, my goodness, Cricket. You could do what I do, Bees, and just type in ! Ticket. That's what I do when I want to be a pain in the neck. So we got a couple of questions that came in, one towards the end right before we went to break, and then one that actually came in over break. So I'm going to start with this one from David Tilstra. And the question is, if you could give your character one piece of advice, what would it be? I love that question.
That's a good
It's a
one.
good question.
I would tell my character to follow Jim the Dim on Twitter. He would provide him with a lot of positivity and support and enthusiasm. And I would also tell that to everyone in chat right now.
It's
I second
If you're
that.
there, if you're listening, follow Jim on
Yep.
Twitter and help me beat him in getting him to 500 followers before he gets me. to
Do
500
it.
followers.
No, don't do that. You should help Nick out because you know why? Nick is closer to hitting 500 than I am by about 8 whole followers. So help me get him to 500 first.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
As
Here-
Patty
hey,
just
win-win.
said, you can't follow
Follow both.
twice. So I'm already sunk there. I can't follow you
Yeah,
both again.
same. Yeah.
Yep.
Just check. Go follow them both.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you
Follow
go.
everybody that's here if you don't already, because you will
Yeah,
not be sorry.
Especially that.
Yeah. You will not be sorry.
But my real answer would be for Relic to just shut up, just stop being honest, and stop ruining all the party's plans because he cannot tell a lie. He's really bad at it. He's very honest to a fault, and has gotten the party into several troublesome situations by pointing something out that he thinks his party member must be mistaken, because clearly they don't know what really happened. So just take a step back, Relic. Just take a step back. It's okay.
Yeah, I think Scarlett's advice that I would give her would be something in the same vein of like, don't be so reckless. You know, think about your actions before you do it. Think through the situation, because not only does it hurt you, but it's hurting the people around you. So you need to think about what you're doing before you do it. Very kindergarten teacher. Very kindergarten.
I think I would sit Garth Rockason down. I would hand him his milkshake. The cherry on top.
Whipped cream?
No whipped cream. Not this time. This is a serious milkshake for serious conversations.
Fair. Quote of the night right there. Serious milkshake.
And I would say to him, Garth, you know, you're really good at killing monsters, and your moves are so sick, and you're such a good swordsman. But when someone says, hey, you look really good, they're flirting with you. They're hitting on you. And what they don't want is a half-hour description of your workout routine. That's not what they're trying to get. So just politely decline and carry on with your day.
I would like to think a good piece of advice would be to use your insight checks. Because I think so many times people forget about them.
Yeah.
And also use insight checks not just when the DM is like, oh, I'm being overly suspicious here. You should probably insight check me.
Red's acting pretty sus right now.
Exactly. We had a really pivotal moment in it's either the very first or the second episode of Know Your Role.
The very first.
I had a slightly weird feeling about an NPC that Joe had introduced to us, and I was like, can I do an insight check? And he's like, yeah, sure, go for it, man. And I think I rolled a nat 20. It was either a nat 20 or it was very high. And Joe was like, oh, shit. Yeah, this guy's definitely lying to you. And he was like, he later told me, he's like, I didn't think I gave you any reason not to trust this guy. If you had rolled any lower, you wouldn't have figured it out. But it ended up becoming a pretty big, the guy ended up becoming a pretty big villain later on in the campaign. And it was just one of those weird feelings I had.
I don't know if I have any advice to give to any of my PCs other than don't be afraid to shed some blood. I usually play support characters and they don't like to be out in the brunt.
I'd probably say that it's okay to go with your gut sometimes. I'd probably let my character know that she doesn't necessarily have to stop and try to think everything through, and it is okay to react every once in a while. Yeah.
That's a good question, though.
It is a good question.
Oh, and if I ever played a ranger, my advice would be to remember to use Hunter's Mark.
Yes! Oh my god,
Yeah, no kidding.
that!
I'd like to joke that if I ever actually play a ranger, I'm going to have them carve it into their bow.
Yeah, that's...
Like, it's going to be...
My ranger should do that because she is terrible at remembering to do Hunter's Mark.
Yeah.
It's funny, Jared played a ranger in the one shot on Paradise the other day.
Yeah, the other day.
And we were talking about the spells that he was going to get. I'm like, you have to do Hunter's Mark. And he's like, I don't think I'm going to take Hunter's Mark. I'm like, what? What do you mean?
What do you mean? It's like the bread and butter of a ranger.
He's like, I don't feel like I should. And I'm like, you have to take it. I forced him to.
Yeah, that's like, you have to take it to be a ranger. It's the rules.
It's a ranger specific spell. You have to do it.
Yep. Not taking Eldritch Blast as a warlock.
Right?
You gotta take it.
So here's the thing about that, though, is that is a 5e specific skill, so my ranger in Pathfinder doesn't have it.
Ooh. But I know you've told us about your ranger and pathfinder having notoriously unlucky archery skills.
Oh yeah,
so-
chat already called it out. It's Katie Machen even said it's also okay to be bad at archery.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But Pathfinder Rangers also have a spell that is basically a staple that they should remember to cast every time. It's called Gravity Bow, and increases the damage of your spell your bow by one size category. So if you're using a longbow, you go from dropping 1d8s to 2d6s,
Yes.
which is like massively important.
Which would be great
yeah.
if my character wasn't level 3.
You're one level away, just one away.
I know, but we just hit level 3, so I still have a ways to go.
Just go grind boars.
That's all right. There's a secret that nobody knows about Eevee yet, so hopefully it will come out soon. I'm like dying for the next combat, so
Ooh.
because I'm so anxious to get to use it, and I never have gotten to.
I think I've actually only gotten to see Eevee in the Halloween one-shot you played the other day.
Yes.
With Chris.
Yes.
So that was cool getting... When I heard Eevee, I was like, wait, is this Edabrix? Is this like... Did Edabrix get a change?
Nope,
Yeetabrix.
Nope, Yeetabrix is in retirement right now.
She's in retirement right now.
Yeah,
Got
she's
it.
in retirement right now, and
But Eevee is new.
Eevee is a whole different character. Yep.
Got it.
So she started on 50 Shades of Crimson. Our Wednesday night campaign originally started as Tabletop Tavern 2 on our previous channel. So we just carried it forward with 2 new cast members. And so, like, I still have my character. Remove Disc still has his character and everything. Amanda still has her character. And then Decider 12 is still DMing. But we have Katie Machen has joined the cast, and Yachts has joined the cast as well. So they have brand new characters. So it's been fun. It's been fun trying to incorporate them into the channel, not into the channel, but into the show, because we've met their characters, and then we had the Halloween episode. So
Yeah, that was a really funny way for you guys all to interact.
yeah, it was good. So we have another question that came in. Katie Machen actually would like to know, what is the thing that you think you need to work on most as a player? Are you a jokester, a rules layer, a spotlight hog, etc.?
For myself, I know because I'm such a researcher, I tend to research stats too much a little bit. Like, I would like to think I'm not a min-maxer person, but I find, like, I try to, like, dive in, like, with the spells. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. These 2 spells really play well off each other. Like, you could do this spell, and then you could, then do this one and have the effects whatever. And I think sometimes that I know that about myself, so I need to, I don't know, step back, because I like the RP stuff as well, but I think sometimes when I'm planning out a character, I get so excited about the intricate little things that sometimes I focus on it a little too much.
Yep.
I think that's awesome. I love it when players do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you sound like kind of very similar to how I play, Caitlin. I'd like to say, like, I think I'm I'm trying to think of the right way to put this. I'm definitely not a min-maxer, but whenever I play a new class, I do go and read for an hour, like, whatever the latest handbook is on that class, to read, like, what all the because it's not that I want to make the character the absolute best it can be, but I want to understand the character. And so that doesn't mean that I won't play, like, a Goliath mage or a dwarf rogue. It's just I want to, like, if I am going to give myself some weaknesses here, I want to know about, okay, well, let me really lean into some strengths here. So, like, you hit the nail on the head. It's like, I'm not a min-maxer, but I almost like to know what a min-maxer would do. Just in case. No.
The one shot, the character that I made for the one shot, we were all like spellcasters. And so knowing that, I was like, and we had Nox was playing a rogue who I think was
Arcane Trickster.
Thank you. That word. And anyways, we were all spellcasters, and I'm like, oh man, we're not gonna have anyone that can, like, be in there to take the heat, And so I'm like, I'm gonna try to make a wizard that will be that person.
Yes.
So I took and I'm sorry, I've forgotten everything. But like when you like make a melee attack, you like do extra damage.
Green flame blade or booming blade?
Booming blade, yeah.
Booming
So I
blade.
took that, and then I also took the feat like nimble. So it was like you don't provoke opportunity attacks.
Oh, nice.
So and like mage armor and shield and things like that. So I like really got in there and was like ready to like take all the brunt of things, and then I could just like do a melee attack and like get away if I had to.
What subclass were you, Caitlin? I'm trying to remember. Were you Abjuration or?
I think I went evocation because I wanted to be able to sculpt, because that's the sculpt the spells so you don't damage people. So I think I chose that on the off chance that I needed to not damage myself. I'm like, fireball right here. I don't want to hurt myself.
Something else that I love that you did, Caitlin, was because we were all spellcasters, I think it was you who started the spreadsheet, right? So, yeah, so put all of our, since we were all spellcasters, we put all of the spells that were there, and then we put our names, and we put an X out by the ones that we took so that we could coordinate and that we all didn't take the same thing, which I thought was a great idea. And we did have some duplicates, but like they weren't game breaking. So I loved that. The organization, loved it.
Well, I really wanted to do that because I wanted each of us to have, because spells, there's such big moments in a campaign. And so I'm like, I don't want all three of us to have mage hand. Like one of us should have mage hand so they can have that moment on stream where they're doing the mage hand things.
But you all have mage hand. You can do a cool mage hand, like friendship high five.
I think Nox and I went back and forth on, well, I summoned my mage hand to do it. And she's like, oh, well, I'll do it with my mage hand. I was like, I'll dismiss it. And she's like, no, you can do it. I'll summon it. And then, no, I'm going to do it. And we just like went back and forth with it. It was fun. That was a lot of fun. Something that I think I need to work on, I can definitely be a spotlight hog. I love to perform. I love an audience. And I love like purveying my story and making my story advance. But at the same time, like I want to make sure that's something I'm really sensitive to, is making sure that everybody else, gets their moment and that I'm not taking up too much screen time. So that's something that I definitely want to work on.
Yeah, I've actually been specifically like holding back jumping in because I'm a terrible spotlight hog. It's so hard to resist sometimes, especially when like I know everyone is like thinking, and then like, oh no, I know what I want to say here, so then I just jump in and do it, and then I like steal the entire scene. So I'll actually like while I'm playing keep track of who has and hasn't been talking and how many times I've spoken first in a row and like all this other stuff. I'm like running all this in my head. Just so like, okay, you spoke first last time, so no matter how long we sit, let someone else do it. And it's hard sometimes. It's difficult.
As a player, I need to learn how to handle a spell book because I've not done spellcasters, and I'm playing my first one soon. It's gonna be interesting.
I can relate to that. I am somebody who sometimes can take too long in between the last turn and my turn. So for me, I think some of it is finding that balance of making sure that I'm prepared ahead of time, but also able to respond in case somebody in the turn before me royally screws up what I was planning to do. So that's actually part of why I've never played a spellcaster, because I'm the person who ends up sitting there going, wait a second, let me just finish reading this real quick, and making sure that I understand what the spell is going to do. But I feel like it takes me forever to get to that point. Like I read it and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to cast this. And then like, as my turn comes up, I'm like, wait, I need to read it again just to make sure. And that's part of why I've never played one. But I think if I feel like I can find that balance, which I'm a lot better about it now than I used to be, I'm starting to like squeak into that area. I played a bard for the first time in an offline 3-4 shot recently, and that was an adventure, that's for sure. She was a bard who didn't realize she was a bard. She thought she was a wizard.
Oh,
Really
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah. Yes, she is siblings. I actually brought her out for the one shot on Paradise as well. She's siblings with a character that David played. So
Love it.
Nice.
yeah.
Love it,
so
love
much
it.
fun.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
I just had a tangent. At my tables as a DM, anytime someone uses a new ability or spell for the very first time, I make them open the book and read the entire thing out loud for everybody, because it sort of adds to the fun. They did this a lot in Adventure Zone, which of course is how we all kind of got our start in loving this medium. But they would read the whole thing out loud, and I was like, oh, I kind of like that. I'm just going to use that at all my tables because it's sort of fun. It's like, oh, this is what my thing does, and this is why it's cool, and this is why I am cool at the table. And it also helps everyone learn the mechanics of the game and helps the players learn how their characters work. So that's like
I like that.
Mhm.
That's a cool rule.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to get people to learn it, and it gives them a chance to to teach themselves as well as the rest of the group. You know.
Internalize it.
Yeah.
I like the idea with that as well, like when you level up in any of the classes. So it's like, oh, I'm a monk and now I can do this super cool thing. And the first time I get to use it, then you get to highlight that. That is really awesome.
That's really cool.
That's literally when it comes up the most, is right after a big level up. They'll be like, oh, I got this new thing. I'm going to show this up. It's great. It's a great thing at the table.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone here is familiar with Critical Role, but like one of the things that I definitely took away from Critical Role, I was starting.
Beauregard shirt on.
Yeah, right. I was starting a wizard character in my home game right as Campaign 2 was starting off, and Caleb is the wizard on Critical Role, and he does such a good job describing his spells in a way where and he doesn't do it every single time, but like usually when it's a new spell or when it's one of his big spells, he'll talk about one of my favorite one is when he describes casting Wall of Fire, and he had the spell components in his hand, and he's like, and I run my hand
Very cool.
through it. And that bit was very inspiring to me as a player to like kind of try and do my own twist on that. And so rather than saying, kind of taking from what Liam O'Brien does, rather than saying I cast this spell, I describe like the components I'm taking out and like the verbal or the somatic things I'm doing. So the rest of the table is like, what the hell is he about to cast?
Love it.
That's awesome.
Love it.
Yeah. I don't think I actually answered the question, which was what was the original question though? Which was it something you wanted to?
I found what Nick needs to work on.
Change about your character?
No, it was something about what's something that you need to work on as a player.
Okay, so obviously I guess paying attention. I think it's a combination of the two examples that were given. Being hogging the spotlight. I think any of us. I mean, look, we're all like, hey, we're all here on a webcam, like on a show. Like I think a lot of us, we clearly like, being a little bit in the spotlight. But it's a combination of that and also being a rules lawyer. And it's not so much saying, oh, that's not how that works, as much as it is like, I know what would be a more effective turn for a person. And I really had to like slap myself on the wrist to say, no, don't tell them that they should go over there, use a bonus action to hide. Then they'll get sneak attack. And then or like, oh, this spell, he's probably resistant to this, and you can hear it on Know Your Role. It's one of my personal things I've worked on, like off camera. I was like, hey guys, I'm really sorry. I keep catching myself and re-listening to the episodes doing that. Saying like, oh, why don't you try using this spell, or why don't you do that? And so that's something that I didn't hear it until I had to listen to myself doing it to other people. So I've tried to really pull back from that as best I can.
We have a new person at our table on the show. Literally, she has never played before. This is her first foray with tabletop games. Wow. Her name's Sydney. She's doing a great job. She's awesome. She's really starting to break out of her shell. But 3 of us are DMs, so. We're all just like chomping at the bit. Like, I know exactly what you should do at every single second to maximize your effectiveness. And we've managed to get a culture going where she feels comfortable asking for help when she's actually completely lost. But yeah, that is definitely something that we had to get used to, is not like playing other people's characters for them.
Yeah.
How is it DMing for other DMs?
Oh, it's great. One of the people at my table, Alex, who plays Warren, he is my favorite DM, my personal favorite DM. He's a very different style DM than I am, but he is very much an inspiration and something of was a mentor to me when I was starting to get in. Now we have kind of a more of a partnership deal, but I think one of the best things you can do is figure out if they're going to be one of those like helpful DMs, or if they're gonna like specifically hang back and not say anything. And fortunately, Alex knows the game as well as I do, so he and I have it pretty well worked out where he'll sort of help me with mechanical things if I screw them up. But usually it's either after the fact, or it's if I'm trying to remember a rule and he has it memorized, I'll be like, Alex, do you know this rule? And he'll be like, oh yeah, that's what this is. So it's it can be intimidating, especially if it's your first crack at DMing. I've been DMing for a long time, so I'm a little more comfortable with it. But if it is your first crack at DMing and there is a DM at your table and they're really experienced, I would honestly talk to that person one-on-one, and I'd be like, hey, so do you want to help or do you want to sit back? Or even more so, hey, this is my first crack at this. Could you help me out? And also, this is what that looks like to me. I'm very comfortable telling a story, but I'm not so sure on some of the mechanics. So if I'm trying to figure out a mechanic in my head, could you please chime in? I won't interpret it as rules lawyering. And those little sidebar conversations, those really help the table chemistry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I've played at tables where we've had multiple DMs, and it's it can be a challenge, but it can be also really helpful, because there are times when somebody doesn't know the mechanic and somebody else knows the mechanic really well. So I think it's super important, and I think it's true of anything, to have that conversation of, I may need help with this, and here's what that looks like to me. I think you said that perfectly, Benjamin. I think that it can be really easy to jump in and help somebody out when they're like, no, I need to figure this one out on my own. It's easy to want to jump in with a new player, for example, and be like, oh, you should do this, you should do that. And I think of it like when I stream on my own channel on Sunday mornings, I always, without fail, have the no backseat gaming tag up, and I will time people out if they start telling me how to play the game. It makes me so frustrated, because I feel like if I fail at something, that should be my character's failure, not because someone did or didn't tell me how to play, and I don't learn anything from them saying, you need to do this. So,
yeah.
I agree.
I think that's why like a session 0 conversation, like what Benjamin was referencing, is like great. Like some people, I mean, I have memories of like when I was younger, like playing games, like when I was in like middle school, high school, of like people being like, hey, can you look up this one spell for me? Like of kind of like working together collaboratively to figure out, I can't figure out the best thing for me to do, but let's stop playing and let's talk about this. Other tables, they don't want that at all. They don't want any of that table talk. They're like, you'll have a DM that's like, no, you've got 10 seconds. What are you doing? And if you're a player that is uncomfortable in that situation and you went in without realizing it, like you're not going to have a good time probably. Right. And vice versa. If you're a DM that loves that kind of quick action combat and all of your players keep stopping every round to like flip through the player's handbook. So yeah, I think the conversation that you referenced, Ben, like just having like what both the DM and the players are looking for is super important.
Mm-hmm.
It always comes back down to communication. Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Yep. And it's something everyone's always learning. Like it was Joe from Know Your Role. Joe and I couldn't be more different in our style of DMing. Like at least back when we started. I think I've started to influence him a bit, and he started to influence me. But like, I play like a pretty serious game. All my characters have like very fantasy-esque names, and I'm like used to be pretty by the book, like when it came to rules, and like I've started to slip in some like silly character names and like fudging rules and things like that. And I think everyone can just like, we can always stand to learn from whether it's other players or other DMs, just like taking little bits.
Yeah, well, and session 0 doesn't stop after session 0.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think one of the hallmarks of the way I DM is there's always a small conversation that's happening between me and the various players, in like Facebook Messenger or we're out having a beer after the session, and then we're sort of talking through things, and that's an open forum to have conversations about the game and sort of what they want and expect and what I want and expect, and it's very much an open exchange. And sometimes I feel like, especially with table games, that line of communication can shut down. You'll see people in like DM Academy on Reddit or RPG Horror Stories. They're talking about like, I don't know how to. I've had this problem player and they've been a problem for 6 months, and I don't know how to broach this subject. I'm like, oh man, you should have started talking about it when it was small.
Yeah.
And that's just good general life advice, people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Dice Bar-
I live by the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was going to read something from chat so it can.
Okay. I live by the 48-hour rule. If it's not going to matter in 48 hours, let it go. Or if it is going to matter, you have to talk to that person within 48 hours. Otherwise, if you don't, just let it go.
Yeah.
And I learned that, I think, in my early years of teaching, and when I was stressing about literally everything. It was helpful for me to like prioritize and think, all right, what do I actually need to be worrying about right now? Or what are my priorities here? And yeah, it helps with communicating as well. And it's helped with those difficult conversations that I've had to have, with parents and things like that. But yeah, I think communication is so key here, and talking to your DM or GM and knowing, like, letting them know what your limits are and letting them know what's okay, what's not okay, and having that open communication and being able to do that. Because if you're at a table where like the DM isn't open to talking, or you don't feel comfortable talking to the DM, that should be a red flag.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say is Dice Barbarian said in chat, I try to stay out of another player's business up until they're about to do something that's going to affect the rest of the party, and then I might start dropping hints. Which, as I responded in chat, I said, that's very different than saying, you shouldn't do this.
Right.
But at
you
the
can
same,
RP that.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, but it's also, for me, it's important to keep it in the context of, would my character even know this if I'm going to say something? Like I was saying before, I don't often play spellcasters. So a lot of times it would make absolutely zero sense for my character to know that if somebody casts Fireball in a small room, that's a bad idea. Unless for whatever reason she's seen it happen before.
Right.
But that's just
yeah.
Yeah.
If there's gonna be like a flag, or someone's gonna do something and the rest of the party doesn't want them to do it, or I'm gonna reach out and grab this thing, or I'm gonna steal this thing from this guy. What I try to do anytime there's sort of a controversial action is, if the players can work it out with themselves, then that's great. If they can figure out if they're going to do that, I will allow time to stop and let them sort of figure out if they actually want to do this. Then the other thing I'll do is, I might, if they're doing something a little weird, I might say to them, hey, so are you sure you want to do this? Because this could, I see this going a couple of different ways, and here's the get what you want way, and then here's this could go bad, and that might be what happens. Because I think the players sometimes don't have all the context, because it's a spoken medium and it's really abstract, that the characters might have. So I try to just be generous with the information as much as possible, so that they know what they're doing and what the consequences might be.
Yeah. I run a Dragon Heist game, and which takes place in Waterdeep, and I will often, when my player's in a situation, say, so just you do recall seeing the code legal posted on every street corner in the city, and you do know that you could charm this guard, but you do remember that if you get caught and and it doesn't work, that it's punishable for up to it's like a month in prison or something like that, whatever it is. Just that, not as a don't do this. I just want to make sure you, the player, your character would remember that, so they don't go, how was I supposed to know? Because I don't want to trap them. I don't want to be like, hey, gotcha, I showed you this handout 6 months ago. So I more so just try to make sure they're aware, rather than saying no, sorry, your character wouldn't do that. We're going to move on to the next turn. That's not the way to do things.
Yeah, that's great, because then you've replaced a gotcha moment with a legitimate character decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if
Do
they
you
decide
wish-
to go through
Yeah.
with it, yeah.
Do they wish to do this high risk, high reward thing, or are they going to find a different way? Like that's I think that's more engaging.
Well, it's better RP in general
Mhm.
because it makes you think, would my character do this? And putting yourself in difficult situations is sometimes the best way for you to grow into who
Yeah.
your person is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciate what you were saying, Nick. I love when DMs do that with me because I don't remember a lot. Like Hunter's Mark. Sean has literally written on a dry erase card Hunter's Mark and stuck it on top of his DM screen so that I could see it. And I still forgot it. But like I really appreciate those reminders because there's so many things going on in the story. But I can't even imagine, like, as being the DM, you're having like 5 different storylines to keep straight here, plus the entire world. But reminders are super helpful for me.
Whenever I'm DMing a barbarian and they attack and they don't say it, I go, "Is this reckless?"
Oh my
And they're always
God.
like, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Currently playing my barbarian on Fridays, and yeah, I need people to do that to me because I will forget my rage damage or the reckless, 100%.
I have a post-it note on the bottom of my monitor from when I was playing Edabrix that's a sneak attack on flank because I would forget it every single time because in Pathfinder, you can take your sneak attack when you're flanking.
We have a saying at all of my tables: A, B, F, always be flanking. So anyone that's
Love
ever
it.
played with me, they're always looking for setting up a flank or whatever. Because literally, we had a rogue at one of my tables that would just rush in and just attack, and then he'd always be like, "Ah, crap! If I would have gone one space over here, I would have been flanking. I could have done my sneak attack." And I'm like, and finally, I was like, "Hey, ABF, man, always be flanking." And
I love it.
Talk.
I love it. Yeah. When it doesn't happen for a while, I completely forget that flanking exists.
I think it's a little more. I don't know. I think it's a little more prominent in Pathfinder, which is mostly what I play. Like
Yeah.
it is critical in Pathfinder setting up flanks.
Yeah, it's a variant rule in 5e, so you don't have to do it. It's not in the base rules, but some
Got it.
like the Critical Role they do it.
Yeah.
Some they still use it.
Yeah.
I have
Go ahead.
sorry. I have 2 rangers that play in my off-air campaign on Tuesday nights, and they can never remember to do their bonus action before their attack. So, like, we were doing waves of what was I doing? Spiders. I was doing giant spiders, and he goes, "Oh yeah, so I'm gonna shoot him. Then I'm gonna move back here. Shoot, did I use my Colossus Slayer?" I'm like, "Nope." Did I? Nope.
Ah,
I let them forget it the first time, and then I'll just remind them afterwards. Or are you doing your bonus action beforehand, or do you want to do it after?
Yep.
So a lot of my players are now with the, if I ask you if you're doing a bonus action, it means there's one available. Go look. If not,
I'm not gonna lie, playing Baldur's Gate 3 has reminded me of the things like bonus actions that I always forget about, especially when playing D&D. So it's been great because I'm like, all right, so here's like, and I sort of now have this mental list of like, okay, I can do this, or this right now, you know, like these are all bonus actions.
Yeah. My favorite thing to do in Baldur's Gate so far is definitely shoving, because they made it a bonus action,
my God,
which it
I
is
love
not a bonus action. I want to run. We've been joking with my 3 friends I've been playing it with. I want to run a game of D&D using the physics of the Baldur's Gate shove.
Right.
Because you can just go up to a character and you shove them, and they will fly like 30 feet away.
Yeah.
There have been so many fights we've ended because like we've just gone up to
Shove.
like a guy and just shoved him, and he just goes, "Oh!"
Push him off a
like,
cliff. Yep.
Yeah,
I love it. I love
Team
it.
Rocket style.
Yeah. And dash is a bonus action for everybody, not just rogues and monks. And I was
Yes.
like,
Yeah. It's been fun though. I've been enjoying playing it, so it's all good.
That is one thing nice about I've been making my character sheets in D&D Beyond, and so it's nice because it's helpful to have those reminders like, oh, click on bonus action.
Mhm.
What are all the bonus actions that you could possibly do? kind of a nice little hint.
I think that's literally the thing you just mentioned, Caitlin. One of the most, like, the single greatest feature of D&D Beyond is that you can sort by action. Because I always have new players, like, they've done their attack, and they're like, well, I don't know what else I can do. And I'm like, oh, click bonus actions, and it will tell you can do all of these things. And unless they're, like, a level 1 fighter, it's like, well, you can't do anything. You know, but, yeah, it's very helpful.
All right. Well, we've got a little bit of time left, so I'm going to throw another question out there since, let's see. Have you all ever rolled on the Player's Handbook trinket table? If so, what did you get?
I didn't even know that existed.
What
Can
is
I roll right now?
I'm doing that right now.
Go
Yeah,
for
roll
it.
right now.
It's a D100.
Nice.
I have before, and I feel like I got like a skeleton hand or something. Like it was.
I got a pair of perfectly
skeleton
identical.
hand?
I got a pair of perfectly identical pine cones.
Oh.
That was what I had gotten before.
Anyone
I
in
just
chat
rolled a
tell me what page
75.
it's on?
Yeah, what page?
Anybody know?
Got my... I'm guessing it's under creating a character.
160 and 161.
Okay, here we go. Oh, okay.
Oh, that's my Eberron book. That's not going to help.
Okay, there it is.
I get a set of bone pipes.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Yes! I got a scrap of cloth from an old banner.
Yeah!
Look at me
Hell
now, Dad.
Oh, I had a character get one of those one time. She took a scrap of cloth from a pirate flag.
Ooh.
That was fun.
That's
She actually
cool.
she was a halfling, so she wore it around like a cape.
I feel like I would wear my scrap of cloth as a headband.
Love
Yeah.
it.
I think that's what I would do.
Someone will have to tell me because I realized I've got my DMG
Yeah,
here, not
what
not
do
my
you-
player's handbook.
I'll tell you. What did you roll?
I got an 89.
89. A vial of dragon blood.
Holy crap.
Ooh, that's a good
What
one.
else?
All right,
Oh
let's
my.
see.
What else? What else?
57.
57. An
You know what?
indecipherable treasure map.
I love it.
That's perfect for you.
Yeah, it is. I will.
Some
will decipher
characters.
that.
Let's
She
just roll
will-
some characters, guys.
Let's do it. Let's just start playing. Let's just start playing.
Somebody,
Yeah,
somebody just
You
said
can-
in
you
chat
can-
that I should make this a permanent part of the stream.
Yeah, that's
I
David.
love this.
And
Yep.
Yes.
so
That's
let it be
really
written, so
cool.
let it be done. That is definitely going to happen. So
There's like
Interesting.
4 adventure hooks, like boom, right now.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
you don't even need to have a story. You just write the story based off of what trinket they rolled.
Exactly.
Dragon's blood? How much is
Make
that?
a character based
Yeah,
off
so-
the trinket that you just rolled.
Some of these
Got
are
a dumb
really,
piece of cloth.
yeah, like some of these I could literally write a whole adventure off of. Like
Yeah.
this one is
It's amazing.
the deed for a parcel of land in a realm unknown to you.
oh, so
Like
like
that.
the Pathfinder Kingmaker story.
Right.
Yes.
A knife that belonged to a relative.
I had a
These things
character
are
that
so
had one of
cool.
those actually.
Yeah, Scarlett had one. She doesn't anymore.
You know what's funny? I think that was what Magnus had on the Adventure Zone. I think they rolled on
It is
this.
his grandpa's knife.
Yes.
Oh
And
yeah.
he kept asking
That's
Griffin. He
right.
was like, "Is it like a really powerful, like a magical knife?" He's like, "No, it's not.
No.
It's
That's
garbage."
right.
That was a great
A
question.
small
chat.
packet filled with pink dust. Yes, please.
Ooh,
Pixie dust.
good. Oh, I was thinking artificial sweetener.
Are we talking
Those are
Steve?
two
All
very
right, let's
different
see.
reactions.
I just rolled now. Let's see. I got a 54, which is a candle that
All right.
can't be lit.
Ooh, mysterious.
I love that. I wonder if you can light the candle, maybe you can decipher the treasure map.
Ooh.
Oh. And maybe the treasure map
Bones.
leads to where that dragon blood
The
came
blood-
from.
You have to fight to get more.
Yes.
Braids Blades
love
just
it.
said in chat a candle.
Oh no!
That's awesome. A candle.
A candle.
Love it.
I could play with the trinket table all night forever.
Oh,
Right?
that's great.
I love
That's
this.
awesome.
This is great.
Yeah, I really like this one. A book that tells the story of a legendary hero's rise and fall with the last chapter missing.
Oh, that would drive me crazy.
Ugh.
That
So
would be my whole
Firefly.
Yes, the
chapter.
Firefly. Oh man. Oh, right to the heart.
Are I shouldn't have done that.
Number 66 is one of my favorites. It's basically a D4. It's a single caltrop made from bone.
That's funny.
What's a caltrop?
Like
It's like
spikes.
Yeah, it's like a little, like, usually you throw a bunch of them down. Think like a pile of jacks.
Oh,
And
okay.
you step on them, and ouch.
Ouch. So D4.
Yeah.
Oh
so
yeah.
it's a D4.
Scarlet
Because you
might
only
like
have one.
60. Yeah, Scarlet might like 63. Shannon, an alabaster mask.
Ha! Good one.
Sorry, a little inside joke there for anyone not caught up on Paradise.
Yeah, it's a real good one.
I like number 93, an empty wine bottle bearing a pretty label that says the Wizard of Wine's Winery, Red Dragon Crush, 331422-W.
This is making me think of like a really cool. You know how people do like monthly challenges or like yearly like reading. Like I'm gonna read this.
Yeah.
I love the idea of like taking this and going like 1 through 100 and making a short D&D one shot, like a adventure hook.
That's
built
a great
off
idea.
of each of these.
I love that.
That
I will help you.
Yeah.
You should kickstart it.
Yes.
Hey.
Yeah.
All right, you guys heard it here. We'll have to
Yeah.
we'll have
You
to
heard it
change
here first.
everything though. Have to change everything a little bit so Wizards doesn't sue us.
It's a great idea.
Yes. Yeah, Braids Blades just said in chat, like the earlier superstitions question, I found trinkets are a super fun way to add quirks to your new character.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
So, all right. Well, on that note, it is time to start wrapping up.
What?
I know.
Already?
It is. We have just a few minutes left, and we've got to draw a giveaway winner and all that good stuff.
Oh, right. That's
so
important.
Oh,
that
yeah,
is
that-
important. So what I would like to do is I'm going to remind chat that there is a giveaway going on. If you joined us in the second half, !ticket to enter to win an Arcane Spectacles Dice Vault, one of the brand new ones that they just launched on their website. And and David Till's just saying, get ready, Patch.
Get ready, Patch. Yep.
And
Oh my God.
while we get the last few entries in, I would like to have everybody get to go around and just remind us of who you are and where we can find you on the internet. So I'm going to go in reverse order from when we started. So, Caitlin, we're going to start with you.
Well, I'm Caitlin from Arcane Spectacles, and we're a TTRPG accessory shop that makes things and we are
Cool things. They do cool
They
things.
do cool stuff, yeah.
I feel like by
Dice
now I
Vault.
have this down. We just recently made these awesome dice vaults that you can now win. So get that entry in and check
Yes.
us out on Etsy, Arcane Spectacles, on Twitter at Arcane Spectacle. And we love making stuff for the community, and we love interacting with the community and making new friends. So feel free to message us if you just want to chat about fun things or your cool ideas for future tracker related things. I don't know.
Just say hi to them. They don't bite, we promise.
They're awesome.
They are
love
very
them so
awesome.
much.
Well, Caitlin, thanks so much for coming on and hanging out tonight. This has been a ton of fun getting to have you join. Now we got to get Jared on one.
Yes, man. I'm sure you would enjoy it.
Jim, let's go to you next.
Okay, I'm Jim. I'm on Twitter and Twitch at Jim_the_dim. I run the Just Heckin' Gamed podcast, but we're on hiatus because real life happened and it's taking us a while to recover. I'm starting to get into streaming, so I'm sporadically on Twitch. This is Twitch, not Twitter. It's been a long week.
I'm super grateful that you were willing to share the end of a very exhausting and exciting week with us. So thank you so much again for coming to hang out and joining us. And you'll have to let us all know what you splurge on with your gift card to Rook and Raven. So keep us posted.
Yeah.
I will. It might have to be a couple of things for a matching set.
Aha!
That's so sweet.
Well, we will look for pictures then. And next we will go to Nick.
Hey everyone. So yeah, my name is Nick, and you can find me on Twitter at Nick Plays D&D, or on I'm usually the voice behind the Know Your Role account on know_your_role. Like I said, currently I'm on the Plot Hooks one-shot adventures that have been coming out weekly. I have been working on something really exciting behind the scenes with the guys from Afar and from Discount D&D. It is a crossover mega one-shot that we pulled some players from each of the different podcasts, and it's fully recorded. We've had some certain people like Shannon, for example, helping us with a little bit of voiceover, and I'm really excited. This thing is probably months away. But we're just starting to lay the breadcrumbs out there for people that we're really excited to bring it to the community. That's probably like the biggest thing that I have to share right now. We will hopefully be able to share some more details in the coming weeks and months.
It's really cool, guys.
Yeah. And thank you, Luna, for continuing this show with shared experience, and I'm really excited for you guys.
Thank you. I am very excited for us, and I'm excited that you were able to come on and hang out again. And yeah, I'm so excited that we're all here. Benjamin.
Hey, everybody. I'm Benjamin. I'm the Dungeon Master for Lawful Great Adventures, an actual play podcast hosted on Anchor. You can find us on Twitter, which I forgot to say at the beginning of this. You can find us on Twitter. We're on Twitter at great_lawful. I'm pretty active on there. You can pretty much guarantee to get a reply from me almost immediately all the time because it's attached to my hip. I am going to be I'm going to be foraying into the streamed games world. I was recently selected as a cast member on the upcoming Star Wars show Ripples in the Gray, hosted by Atomic. The actual production host is yet to be announced, so keep your eyes peeled. But I'm really excited to start playing in front of people live, kind of like this, but with more dice and acting. That's why I've got a green screen now. I've got this fancy fellow back there. You can also, I've also apparently made it my personal mission to get on basically every tabletop talk show in the history of talk. So you can probably find an episode from me, Monsters and Multi, 2DMs, Plot Hooks. You can find me. I think I'm going to do Ironbound Chest coming up here pretty soon. So I love talking about this stuff. If you have a tabletop talk show, I will come on and talk about whatever you would like me to.
So Shannon, contact Benjamin.
Cool. Got it. We do need to get you on for the power hour, though.
Sure. I would love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing.
Yeah. We'll work out the details off screen.
Tales from the Tavern, making connections in the D&D world.
We got the backroom deals coming at you live.
Oh, it's Shannon.
That's me. Hi, everybody. My name is Shannon. I am from Paradise RPG. I play Scarlet over there, my lovely, fiery, tempered rogue. Tomorrow we are doing part 2 of our Halloween adventure. I will be doing a full Scarlet cosplay again, and rumor has it that somebody else might be as well. So I will not be the only one with face paint on tomorrow. So come check that out at 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night. I also play on a game on Roll for Damage on Friday nights where I play my barbarian Sloane, who I frickin' love. She's amazing. She's a big teddy bear, but she will fuck you up in combat. So she's just so great. So if you want to check that out on Friday nights at 9:30 EST or 9:30 AM Australian time. And you can find me on Twitter at sroby25. I'm there all the time. And yeah, thank you, Luna, for having me on again. I love this show so much.
I love having you on, and I am super excited that that it worked out for you to be able to come over. Poor Shannon literally came running from one stream to another right before we started. So yeah, it was
shortest commute ever. I literally clicked a different window.
Yes. It was great. But we're super glad that you were here. So thank you all so much for for coming to hang out tonight, and we are going to draw the winner of the giveaway. So again, last call. Give you a couple more seconds to get those last few entries in. And see. Aw, Xander, you're so sweet. All right. For a minute, I thought the bot page crashed, but it didn't. So, all right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I am going to close the giveaway now. And the winner is bum-ba-da-ba, Big Bees! Big Bees, if you are here in chat, speak up now or forever hold your peace.
Come on, Big Bees. Come on.
Come on, Bees.
Come
we know
on,
you're around
Bees.
somewhere. Bees, there he
Come on.
is! Yeah, Bees! Oh, that's super exciting. Bees, if you guys are not familiar with Bees, you can catch him on a couple of different channels. I know that he does a lot with our friends over at the Dice Tyrants. He is a fantastic TTRPG player. I've had the privilege of playing with him once on a one-shot, and I would give anything to get the chance to do it again. And he was on our first episode of Tales from the Tavern. His essentially Southern Baptist character gave us a blessing from Bahamut on this channel, so it was pretty great. So
Yeah, it was pretty incredible.
it was very fun. And with that, we are going to let's see, we're gonna toss this over to a raid. Let's see who we have on tonight that we can go say hi to. Let's see, we're gonna go say hi to Total Party Chill. They're doing a
Cool people.
yeah, they are
Yeah.
very cool. Oh, is Nox on? Oh, no, we're going to go say hi to Nox Batty. Nox Batty has one viewer right now. She's a huge friend of the TTRPG community. She did all of the character art for our 50 Shades of Crimson campaign. So let's go over there and show her some love because she
Nox is
deserves
amazing.
it. She is
So amazing.
fantastic.
She also built both the From Afar and Know Your Role Discord servers. So
Wow.
Wow. That's really
awesome.
yeah, she's great.
All right, I just need to get her.
Give her your eyeballs. Give them to her.
Yeah, do it. You will not be sad. I mean, maybe don't literally give them to her because we want you to come back and watch the stream.
Yeah. Maybe one. One
yeah.
would be okay.
I could spare one.
Alone.
Yeah,
I miss depth perception though.
that's true. All right. So I hope you all have a wonderful evening. I'm going to flip us over to the ending screen, and I hope you guys all have a fantastic night. Join us again on Wednesday night for our 50 Shades of Crimson campaign. We'll be back with our regular cast, 8 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern time, and look for more information on new things coming down the pike. Probably, I don't know, information coming soon. We've got more stuff that we're looking at getting started. So I hope you all have a great night, and thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again next Sunday.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.